A Phoenix-based company has proposed 2 dam projects that would bring hydropower to the Little Colorado River. But already there is more than a dozen efforts to stop them.
Cronkite News reporter Melanie Porter is following the story. Melanie, how does this technology work?
The company Pumped Hydro Storage wants to build a system on the Little Colorado River that would store energy. Here's how it works. There would be 2 large reservoirs and 2 dams, both at extremely different elevations. The more drastic the difference in elevations, the better. The company would buy renewable energy when it's at its peak, in the daytime, and use it to pump water from the bottom reservoir up to the top. When the sun goes down and renewable energy costs more, pumped hydro would release the water to the lower reservoir and sell the energy for profit. Although these projects are 5 miles outside of the Grand Canyon, their impact would directly affect the people and the culture within.
That is the birthplace of Hopi. That's our church. There's our place of worship.
The Hopi people hold the Grand Canyon and Little Colorado River with the highest degree of sacredness.
We need to go forth and talk with them before any ideas are addressed.
Any project proposed on and around the Little Colorado River is taken very seriously, not only for its potential environmental and economic impact, but also from a cultural standpoint. Hopi Vice Chairman Clark Tinakongva believes the Hopi people haven't been given the proper respect when planning these dam proposals.
But they've already got an agenda that's printed out in social media of what their plans are, without no word from either the Navajo or Hopi Tribe.
Tinakongva believes they have fought the exploitation and degradation of their land time and time again.
They're just a bunch of brown people, skinned people living up north. It won't hurt us in any way.
The Hopi and environmental groups, including the Grand Canyon Trust, are looking to leaders to help preserve the Little Colorado River for future generations.
We were here before the hydro dams were even thought about. There's reasons why we oppose it, and they need to respect that. You know, if they want to generate revenue, do it elsewhere.
But Pumped Hydro Storage LLC says these projects are in the right place and would help push the science of renewable energy forward.
If you want to expand renewables, you're going to have to come up with ways to store it. And we just think that that location is just a fantastic location for doing that.
Steve Irwin and Justin Rundle filed for permits in the spring to build 2 separate projects on and around the Little Colorado River. If both are approved, it would mean 4 dams, 4 reservoirs, and 2 hydro generating facilities.
Salt Trail Canyon would be roughly $3 billion, and the other one would be, like $6-7 billion.
Irwin says the projects will help keep the local economy afloat by providing jobs to those who used to work for the Navajo generating station, which closed in November.
And the Navajo need the work, and they have the facilities there. We're using stuff that's already there. It just makes a lot of sense.
Pumped Hydro Storage wants to use the power lines that were built for the Navajo generating station. But for the Navajo, even the promise of jobs isn't enough to overcome the fear around the impact of dams.
I think a lot of our people out there really want to keep our lands pristine, meaning the way it used to be, just to respect and to be caretakers of our land. That's why we're placed here. And so putting a dam there will disrupt life.
Glen Canyon was the place no one knew.
Glen Canyon Dam was finished in 1963, and we use it and the lake it created to provide recreation and power all around the West.
Of course, it gave jobs to a lot of Native Americans at the time it was being built. But look what it did.
Beautiful canyons and culturally significant land is now deep underwater because of the Glen Canyon Dam. Other dams were proposed around the same time, but they weren't built because of the public outcry.
The political and economic pressure to provide cheap electricity was so strong, there had to be an alternative. So ultimately, when the decision was made not to build those 2 dams, the alternative way of getting electricity was to build Navajo generating station.
The power lines went up to avoid building more dams in the area back in the 60s, but those same power lines are the reason why Pumped Hydro Storage LLC wants to pursue this area.
Both the Navajo and the Hopi made money on it. And we're looking to replace the Navajo generating station with these.
Although these hydroelectricity projects are at the very beginning stages, and it will be a long road before anything is decided, the Navajo and Hopi tribes know there is more at risk in a land that holds the past and future of its people. The window for public comment on these two proposals closed on November 22nd, and now it is up to the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission to determine the fate of these two proposals. In the broadcast studio, Melanie Porter, Cronkite News.